Enigma. We talk about a story from the 19th century where loggers within the so called logging country of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan were disappearing under mysterious circumstances, and a cryptid might be to blame. Then we head to the forest of Pennsylvania to talk about a creature who is endlessly depressed and may have the power to shift. Welcome, campers, to Camp Enigma. Welcome, campers. I am your camp leader, Josh, and with me today, as always, I am joined by our camp counselor, Lady Grizzard. Lady Grizzard, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm ready to jump into some spooky tales of educating our um campers. That being said, giving the intro, what cryptids do you think we're going to be talking about today?
I'm thinking we're going to be talking about hide behind in my spirit. The squonk.
The squonk and the hide behind, 100% correct. So, why don't we just jump in and talk about the overall physical description of it, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah. Give us all kind of in a picture
Okay.
while we're talking about it.
So just imagine, you know, 19th century, being a logger. Obviously, you have all the dangers of uh, trees falling on you, you know, bears, and then other animals that could um, just end your life rather quickly. Um, Now then, imagine, okay, that mysterious disappearances are going on all around. You can't really understand why, but there's stories of this elusive creature that is a undeniably slender humanoid wraith-like creature. The wraith-like being, of course, um, kind of like a smoky ghost uh, type creature. Um, it is said to have extremely impressive claws, um, due to the reports that it rips its prey apart. It literally will sneak up behind its prey, gouge its stomach open, and rip its intestines out.
Golly.
It'll then eat on the flesh of that prey. Now, the reason that it's called a hide behind, and I actually have a picture, is it literally hides behind its prey or hides behind a tree. It does not like to be looked at. It actively tries to avoid detection at all costs. So think about it as like a massively um a much more massively vicious version of the ghosts from Mario, where when you turn around, you look at them, they freeze.
Right.
So this cryptid, it actually hides behind a tree. So when you turn around to look at it, or you try and shine a light on it, it'll hide behind a tree. Then the second you turn back around, it will actually get closer and closer until it can actually use those reportedly impressive claws to attack you.
This is giving me like serious Doctor Who vibes, like where if you're looking at them, you're fine, but if you look away, they're gonna attack. I don't remember if they attack or turn,
Yeah.
but that's the vibe I'm getting. These images that you have though are pretty cool. It almost makes it kind of reminiscent to a bear, at least based on these images. I'm sure there's probably a million different what it potentially.
Right. And it was very easy, you know. I think the reason that it resembles such a close, you know, similarity to that is just because I feel like a lot of people might have just misconstrued it as a uh, bear just due to, you know, impressive claws. I think b- bears have very impressive, you know, claws. Um, we've all seen them, you know, they're massive. Um, it's just it's so hard to nail down, you know. There's no like video evidence, obviously, it being so long ago, you know. The video cameras actually weren't really a thing. um Pictures back then weren't probably great, probably took them forever, and by the time you got the picture or something, you're either going to be dead or the creature's going to be gone. One of the things that I find interesting too is that the description of a wraith like, you know, uh image, you know, it's like, you know, kind of like a misty type creature. So that tells me that it can switch between like a physical creature and a, it's kind of like a shadow type creature too. So there's kind of like that supernatural um ability just to you know, change quickly.
Okay.
um so it begs the question of how do you defend yourself against something like that, you know. It's, do you have any, you know, do you have anything in your gut that's kind of saying, well, probably like this?
Stay in the house.
That's probably true. um However, these guys did have a job to do, pretty important um one. What it is said that they did is they found out, I don't know how.
Okay.
And if your mind's gonna go exactly where mine did too, it's gonna be interesting too. So what they found out was the hide behind doesn't like the smell of alcohol. So just, you know, beer, liquor, something like that. Hates it. So what the loggers would do is, reportedly, if they felt like a hide behind was in their area, they would start to drink.
They're just out here partying on the clock.
Pretty pretty much, which I would assume makes an already dangerous job a lot more dangerous. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You know?
I mean, could they have not? I mean, listen, I wasn't there. I didn't experience. Could they have just like poured some alcohol on their clothes?
They probably could. Um, yeah. There's just been the reports that they just drank it, which obviously, with your um theory as well, kind of leads to the next point of, a lot of people just thought that was just another excuse to have another drink,
Yeah.
or that this creature just in general was a whole nother thing created to um make loggers be more careful. Maybe they had a lot of on-site, accidents or injuries or something like that, and they decided to create this creature that, yes, it forced you to be more careful on the job, but it also lets you have a drink or two, on lunch breaks or something like that. Um,
When you're being told careful, you take, have a drink or two.
it calms your nerves.
No?
Um, the story of the hide behind cryptid has also been included in popular culture. 2016, there was a story added to the Harry Potter themed website called Potter More, in which is called a nocturnal forest dwelling specter that preys on humanoid creatures. So it's got enough of a reputation for the Harry Potter, crowd, the um Harry Potter, audience to now include it.
Right.
Um, and then it was also featured in a 2006 horror and suspense novel by Charles H. Snellings. So it's become a pop culture icon too. I mean, it's one of those creatures, that just people read up on, which there's not a ton of information out there on it. So, um, I would love to actually see if somebody has captured one for real. I would absolutely love that,
Yeah.
just because there's so little on it. And honestly, like you can't help but be captivated by the tale, whether or not it's true, or um, just the idea of maybe it just was another excuse for them to drink. I think we all um, you know used to look for any reason. I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's awesome to think that this creature could actually be something that exists, as creepy as that is.
Yeah, it's very
So
creepy. Um, I would be curious to have like about it too. That is definitely something that I want to see. Drawings are fine, but I would really enjoy actual.
yeah. Um so yeah, guys. What are your thoughts on this particular cryptid? Would you be interested in going out and trying to prove it? Or is this one that you're gonna say, nah, stay away from it for forever? No ma'am, no sir. So let us know down below. And while you guys are doing that, we're gonna continue. Right now, camp counselor Lady G is gonna be taking over with her story. Think we are moving on um, to the squonk.
Okay. So we have this squonk. Like you mentioned earlier, it's more regional uh, to the forest. I think it's the hemlock forest of Pennsylvania. um, it's believed to be a mythical creature, something that originated in the 19th century. Again,
That's two things we have in the 19th century. What was going on at that
They
time?
were all drinking.
They were all drinking. Exactly.
But again, in at the height of the Pennsylvania's important timber industry.
Can we just stop cutting down trees? Because apparently we're just creating
Look,
cryptids.
you're cutting down trees, so these crazy things are coming out of the woodworks because now they don't have anywhere to live. That's what's going on.
That,
That's
you
what
know,
I'm gonna call
that is a great point.
it. um, so this this creature, I would say, is my spirit animal because
Okay.
it's like eternally sad. If it gets like pinned into a corner or it feels like it's in a situation where like it's in trouble, it dissolves. And I'm just like, all I can think about is like, dang, I wish I had that ability.
Just kind of feel like that's like a metaphor for depression, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
when we're all just depressed, I mean, we all just kind of do. Like we just kind of like dissolve and just like don't talk to me, don't be around me, kind of thing. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. Um, so the earliest known written account of the skunk comes from a book by William T. Cox called The Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods. So I wonder, we should check out that book because I wonder if a hide behind would be. I know it's not necessarily the same region.
I am listening to you. But what is that book called again?
So okay, so I cut off the title. I'm sorry. It's by William T. Cox, and it's called "The Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods," with a few desert and mountain beasts.
Okay, they actually have it on line, a lot of different versions. So if you guys want
Oh,
to,
that's
go
interesting.
online. Amazon's got it for 5.90 and nine.
Not
Six,
sponsored, but
not sponsored, but we could be. So yeah, go and check those, out. They have a PDF version too.
we love that.
So
We love
yeah,
a good PDF.
PDF.
Um, so before we show the picture of it, I'm gonna give you a couple of descriptive words.
Yes.
Okay, ready? Close your eyes and imagine
It's creepy. I don't want to.
it. Loose skin,
Lovely.
warts,
Love it even more.
wrinkles.
Okay.
Are you ready for a picture now?
Sounds gorgeous. All right. Oh
Bingo.
boy. All right. um, I just want to say too, like everything and everyone is freaking beautiful. Just want to throw that out there.
This squonk is beautiful. I want one. I think Phoebe would make it dissolve though.
Phoebe probably wouldn't. Phoebe would give it love. Phoebe gives everything love.
Touche.
Onyx is a problem.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So the legend is that it has ill-fitting skin. It's covered in warts. It's ashamed of its appearance, and it that is essentially what keeps it hiding, um, and keeps it not keeps it sad, but maybe makes it sad. Because it knows like it's ashamed of how it looks because it knows how it looks. So instead of like being elusive because it can like do harm, it's elusive because it doesn't want to harm your eye.
So it's a very like uh self aware cryptid.
Yeah,
It's very aware of what's going on.
I would
Okay.
say. I would say. Now, there is a guy who claims that he caught one. Okay. Um, we'll call him Mr. Wintling.
Okay.
Um, he supposedly coaxed the creature into a bag. When he carried it home, it suddenly lightened. The bag itself just felt lighter. When he went in to like look at it and inspect it, he found that it was actually just now liquids that was just kind of like seeping out the bag. So that's
I mean, that does kind
bad
of lead or
support.
yeah, give, credence to the belief that it can uh switch from like a physical form to a liquid.
Yeah.
And that's impressive. Okay.
Yep. Um, so as much as I don't like talking about people's appearances, if you couldn't tell by the pictures, um, in a version of the 2015 fearsome creatures, the squonk is physically and actually referred to as a pig, covered in warts and has cauliflower ears covered in wax and hair. It has yellow tusks and, well, excuse me, yellow and crooked tusks, while it has four legs. Three and a half of its right hind leg is transparent. I don't.
So a transparent leg.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
what that's about though. Like I couldn't find a lot of information. I just thought that that was like kind of funky, something to mention. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that it would be still a functional part, but be transparent too, which kind of makes me think like is go along with being able to turn itself into a liquid, could it also go transparent? And then if it kind kind of like honed the rest of that skill, like
Maybe
not that it's a skill, but like if part of you is transparent, you would automatically assume the rest of you could become it. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of us, when we get depressed, we just really just want to like
Mm,
disappear,
yeah,
become transparent anyway. So I imagine it would potentially have the power to do that as well.
that would be a really good theory to try to dive into a little bit. I couldn't find anything that would but I mean, you have a point. If your body's already partially transparent, and I don't know if like maybe it wasn't necessarily transparent as much as the leg was cut off, but
That's true.
but I mean, you never know. Um, Now, Blanc's method of love and reproduction, binary fission.
Um, for the sake of exposing my ignorance, to this, what is that?
Basically asexual reproduction.
Okay.
So it separates it's separation of the body into bodies.
Okay.
And don't feel bad, I had to go. It's
I
been a couple of years since I was in school.
definitely would have had to. I had no clue. You said that and I was what? Okay.
So we remember Mr. Wentling. He's the one that said he caught it, put it
Mm-hmm.
in a bag, took it home. By the time he got home, the bag was lighter and then liquid was. Apparently, this guy had like an arch nemesis. I don't know what kind of
Okay.
business he was in. Um, but Hal Johnson, Mr. Johnson, call him. Um, he supposedly caught one and had the same exact experience. Now, if I have an arch nemesis, I'm not gonna like willingly admit that I had the same experience. I'm gonna like boost the story a little bit and be like, no, it stayed alive and whole and
And we were friends for about a week, and then it turned to liquid.
right, exactly. But apparently he had the exact same.
So my whole thing, I'm sitting here with my arms crossed and my eye like I'm looking up at the sky because I'm sitting here pondering. I don't know if you're pondering what I am pondering, but I'm trying to figure out if it's such an elusive creature and it much like the previous cryptid that we just talked about, whenever somebody looks at it, they it turns away, or it changes into a liquid, or it turns, into like a transparent um creature. How would you catch it in a bag? Like, how did you earn their trust? How did you do this? And why y'all too?
Right. These are my questions as well. Because again, but like, and adding on to that question, actually, why did y'all have the exact same story? If y'all,
Yeah, it just seems like a very poor game of one-upsman, Chip, because you're 100% right. Like, I would want to make my story as elaborate as possible compared to the other person.
yeah,
However, rivalry not looked at, not paying attention to the rivalry part at all. If you both had um the same story about what happened, and you guys, I said arch rivalry put to the side, but I'm actually gonna bring it back, up too, because if you guys could put your rivalry to the side and agree that that's what happened, then that means a lot. Um, honestly, this would be a creature that I wouldn't mind, going out there, if we're actually able to, anyway, go out there and set up, game cameras, and just, camp out for like a week or something like that, trying to catch a glimpse. I'd be more um inclined to do it with the squonk um than the hide behind at all. Call me crazy, but I don't want my stomach gouged. And I also don't want to drink the level of drinking that I assume is going to take uh to turn the hide behind off. But yeah, campers, am I wrong? Would y'all not go out there and, camp? Would you rather camp for one over the, other one? Or are you just going to say, forget it, I am going to do neither of them? I'm going to do both? What chances do you actually want to, take? Are you up for either one of them? Camp counselor, what do you think?
I'm totally going to see my buddy this.
The squonk?
Yeah, because if I can get it to trust, bringing it home.
What if it doesn't like me though? Maybe it's like a guy thing, which honestly I don't blame it.
I would have to sit it down, have a conversation. That you know you're not like other men, so
True.
it can trust and love you.
I can't. I appreciate that. Camp counselor, Lady G. Why is that so hard? Counselor. Keep going,
I think it's
counselor.
I think it's the counselor lady
Counselor,
G. I
lady.
think it's
It's
the
the
L.
double
Yeah,
L's.
so close together. I think.
We're gonna work on it. But yeah, campers, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. Please let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next time right here at Camp Enigma.
Do 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 do.